There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
Maui Nui is on a mission to help balance axis deer populations for the good of our environment, communities, and food systems on the island of Maui. They've shared over 126,000 pounds of nutrient-dense protein with the Maui community. Secure your spot now. Become a snack subscriber and join in helping to build more resilient food and ecosystems on Maui. Visit MauiNuiVenison.com. That's MauiNui venison.com and use promo code BEAR for 20% off your first order.
I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the old ceremonial hunting tradition of eating the heart out of the first animal you kill. Meat from those organs are among the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. You can get those same benefits your ancestors craved via convenient daily capsules from Heart and Soil. Find out more at heartandsoil.co. And remember, use code MeatEater for 10% off your purchase.
My name is Clay Newcomb, and this is a production of the Bear Grease podcast called The Bear Grease Render, where we render down, dive deeper, and look behind the scenes of the actual Bear Grease podcast. Presented by FHF Gear, American-made, purpose-built hunting and fishing gear that's designed to be as rugged as the places we explore. Welcome to the Bear Grease Render podcast. My, oh my, what an incredible... That's not a microwave beeping.
I thought it was.
I've got to figure out how to make that stop, Joe. It's like my computer. Welcome to the Bear Grease Render. When people listen to this, this is going to be after New Year's. Did you know that?
First show of the new year.
First show of the new year.
What an honor.
And I've got to my right, Joe Wilson.
Wearing the overalls.
Making up for while Brent's out.
So Brent isn't here, and Joe told me that he was going to be wearing his overalls. So he did.
Yeah, and I got 2 pocket knives.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What are you carrying?
Well, I got this one up here, and it says it's a Tree brand.
Tree brand, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a nice little folder.
And then
Lock blade folder.
And then over here, I got that case, XX.
Oh, this is your loaner.
Yeah.
Hayden, do you know about that?
You bet.
Okay, so if you ask Joe for a knife to scratch around on the rims of your truck or something, he'd be like, sure, use this one.
He's kind of like that guy we was talking about earlier. What are you going to use it for?
Yeah.
Is that a lie?
Well, nice. Good work. Good work.
Yeah.
So, Joe Wilson, Joe is famous, world famous for the World Championship Squirrel Cook-Off. So,
Not for cooking, but for hosting.
well, he's famous
Just
for a lot of
just
stuff.
to clarify.
And other stuff, too. Podcaster, sheepdog, steak cooking.
Bear
all that.
Grease.
Bear Grease.
Yep.
Yeah, you've been on Bear Grease several times.
Yeah. So
I'll introduce everybody. To Joe's right is my lovely wife, Misty Newcomb.
Hi, everybody.
Great to see you.
Good to be
Looking
here.
forward to talking with you. Skipping over our mystery guest, Bear John Newcomb, making his second appearance on the Bear Grease Render
Whoa.
of late. Good to see you, Bear.
Good to be here.
Bear's been out. He went on a big expedition the other day. It just told me, hey, I'm going to be gone for a couple of days.
I've been admiring those stories.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
true
yeah.
stories. They're true stories.
I don't doubt them. They're great stories.
Like it or not.
Well, I mean, he just told me, he was like, I think that's all he would have told me. I think he would have just said, Dad, I'm going to be gone for a couple of days. And just expected that was enough information. I'm like, okay, where are you going? Going hunting.
I do that to my wife.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Well, she
I was about to say, Bear, you got to break this habit before you get married on behalf of your future wife.
I got one of those spot things now, so she
Okay.
can track me.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That way, if I have a mule flip over on me,
That's what it's for.
Yeah, that's mainly what it's for. I had one do that one time, so
Our mystery guest, Hayden Powell.
you bet. Glad to be here.
Man, so I met Hayden in person for the first time about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And so he's been here at the global headquarters, Misty, and I do him like I do every other guest that comes here. They want to talk to me, and I'm like, no, stop. Don't talk.
Now, Joe was the one who done that.
We think Hayden's only got 30 minutes worth of stories in him.
Okay.
That's
all
about
right.
it.
Joe, so if you're ever invited to this podcast, you should come 30 seconds early.
And be silent.
And then when you walked in, we could just talk. But no, Hayden, great to have you. You're from Norman, Arkansas,
In between there and Catagap. Yeah, I don't claim Norman. I don't know.
which is okay. Yeah, Norman's like where the big city folks
No,
live.
that's the high rollers. You got to watch
It's
that.
true.
Hey, they got double wides over there.
No tires on the roof.
I know we're joking, but we're being serious.
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Like wherever you live, the big city is always just a matter of it's a matter of context.
You bet.
So if you live somewhere like the big city, and Norman's all of 1,500 people.
306.
Okay, Norman's a little smaller than I
think it
remembered.
might be 346, maybe.
Okay,
So what's Cattle Gap?
Catagap is 97 and 2 good coon dogs.
Oh, man. All right.
so we were talking. My grandfather, Lewin Newcomb, pastored a church in Cattle Gap.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we were talking, and it's possible that his grandfather went to Mount Gilead Baptist Church.
Oh, that's
it's
fine.
possible. We're gonna do some checking.
We're gonna check it out. I actually text my mom here in a minute, and
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
you should have brought your mom.
I should have brought my mom, but
Why wouldn't you have done that?
she's in Hot Springs.
So Hayden is the reason I invited Hayden. Three prongs. He's a mule man.
you bet.
He's
Automatic
a musician,
You bet.
and he's from my home turf down in the Washtas.
That's right. East to west.
East west, baby. That's right. Mountains run east to west.
You bet.
The only mountain range between the Appalachians and Rockies that run east and west.
There you go.
Joe? Do you know the orogeny of the Ouachita Mountains? Big word, sounds weird.
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that?
Powerful word.
Break it down.
Orogeny is the word for mountain building. Look here, I have a big book up here.
Well, they're real mountains.
They are mountains, yes.
I have a book about the origin of mountains in America.
There's a lot of quartz
So-
in it because I see it all along the side of the road.
Easy now.
Like one bucket for $5.
$5.
Is that how much quartz is?
I was gonna bring one for you, and I'm glad I didn't.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, we got to establish this real quick. About once a year on the Bear Grease Render, I like to go into a deep history of the Ouachita and Ozark Mountains.
And orogeny.
An orogeny, yeah, mountain formation. When the South American continent bumped into the North American continent, it buckled in the Ouachitas, and it caused a fold. And when there were sedimentary layers of rock that had been laid down by a shallow ocean.
Gotcha.
When the continent bumped into North America, it folded, causing intense heat and pressure, which makes what?
The Ouachita Mountains.
Quartz crystals was the
Boom,
right
I got
answer.
it.
Well, that's the Ouachita Mountains.
Quartz crystals, metamorphic rock. There's a lot of slate down
Did you
there.
learn that at college?
It's a great place for spring training of baseball too.
For real?
Well, yeah, down there in Hot Springs, that's where all the Major League Baseball teams used to.
I tried to stay
Do
to
they
the
really?
west of Hot Springs. the best I
Yeah,
can.
man, that's where Babe Ruth used to play down there. All those people.
I think they've shifted to Arizona now.
Yeah,
I think I don't think we do really. Spring training is huge in Phoenix. A good year.
but
Okay.
it all started in Hot Springs.
Okay. Good
Well,
to know.
back to the interesting stuff. The Ouachita Mountains used to be 10,000 foot tall and snow covered.
They declined about 9,000.
Yeah. Today, they're not quite that big. But no, so Hayden is from down there. And Oh, I got it. So
Oh, come on, not right
He's
now.
jumping right into it.
well, I want to ask you about the jar by your feet.
I don't want to tell you about it, really.
I
My
got
buddy Ben Cogburn. Well, let's back up. Me and my boss, Rusty, we were, he lives over in the Ozarks, but we were talking about, I told him about coming here, and we were talking about coons, because me and him both trap. Mm-hmm. And I said, a coon is practically a small bear. And he was like, yeah, it is. So then I started doing research. And you can use the fat off of a coon just like you can a bear.
I believe that.
So my buddy Ben Cogburn, he caught me too while I was at work. And that is what is in this jar.
You rendered some coon
fat.
grease.
It looked a lot better than that yesterday.
Have you been drinking it?
You should start.
way up, yeah.
You should start a spur off podcast
Yeah.
called Coon Grease.
Well, if I knew how to do it, I would. I'm not very technical
Man,
savvy.
Bear, describe what that looks like.
Just take a swig of it.
Yeah, just
It
take a big drink of it, Bear.
Does not
Just-
look palatable. It looks like really watery
Don't judge a
gravy.
Don't judge a
Watery
book by its
Brown
cover.
gravy.
Yeah, it's kind of a chocolate brown. We were discussing how it looks compared to bear grease. Bear grease is it looks different. I don't know. It's a little darker, but it has a great smell.
It's
There's
got
there's
a good
no
smell.
you wouldn't smell that grease and think, "Oh, that's a coon."
Now that's what it looked like yesterday.
I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, it looked really good yesterday.
It was like
Yeah,
beautiful amber.
it
So,
was-
coon grease. Nice work.
I'm going to,
Nice
if you
touch.
don't mind, I think I'll rim this lid.
Stick your tongue off. in
Okay,
that
Joe's
thing.
got the lid and
I
he's got a big
nice little dollop.
Stick your whole finger in that jar. Come on, get the good stuff.
You got to go in
There you
deeper.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
God,
Kind of got to knock the chunks off of it.
don't worry about that. It's just some hair.
Licking the finger.
It's a fairly dry grease.
Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, what is it? It
Well,
looks awfully wet. To me.
Well, so it's almost like, I don't know if you'd put it in a hinge on the door.
It's not sticky.
It's not sticky. Duck fat is a dry fat.
It's supposed to be good for conditioning boots and stuff.
It's doing a number on my lips.
What's wrong with it?
What's it?
It's no, it ain't tingly or nothing like
Oh,
that.
okay.
It's just
Like you're gonna go home and render some coon
But
fat.
I could say it'd make a great lip balm. What's that guy's
Really?
name who does the bee wax?
Mine are a little chap.
Burt's Bees.
Yep. I think we got Hayden Coon.
Well, what did it taste like? What did it taste like?
It's a real dry fat, man. I could tell that you probably overcooked it.
I mean, it was fast in a Dutch oven. It
Yeah,
was quick.
I think Clay's the bear grease
Let's
master.
not get uppity here, Joe.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not trying. I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying it tastes like whenever you've got your drippings from your bacon
Yeah.
inside the skillet, you could still taste like the crackling.
This is a quart mason jar and it's full just beyond the halfway point. That's quite a bit of coon fat to make that.
I mean, I really didn't go just crazy on it.
But I mean, like you started probably with over a pound of. Would you
It was
say
probably a pound.
probably a pound?
Yeah.
That's pretty good yield, I'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah. There was a lot when they started floating. I was like, golly.
Yeah.
Did you eat the crackling?
My bloodhound did. Yeah,
Gotcha.
he got to him before I could.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I think you can make some chocolate chip cookies or something. with it.
Okay.
Add
I
it
think
to
it's
brownies.
It's good. Joe, you were going to give me some fashion advice before we started.
Well, I did something. I've been bald a long time.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you, there's great pleasure for a man going to a barber shop. You get to sit there, watch Andy Griffith on the TV,
That's
read
right.
an ancient magazine, hear the local folklore. And since I went bald, I just cut my hair myself. Now, I do have this shrubbery on my face like you, Clay.
That's a handsome beard, Joe.
Well, Tuesday, I treated myself to getting a barber shop beard trim.
okay.
Ooh.
Lasted 20 minutes, had my eyes closed the whole time.
Really?
Well, I wasn't used to people jacking around in my face like that. And you know, they put that scalding hot rag on your face and a whole 9 yards. And I was told not to trim it myself for 3 weeks because I'd already screwed it up. So
Wait, before?
I just been doing probably what you do. You get some wild hair and
Are you? I feel like you're making a lot of assumptions about my beard.
Definitely making some assumptions. There's a lot of inferential things happening here.
Look,
It's kind of like
I
saying,
took a whole finger of coon grease a minute ago.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, for all the men out there,
okay.
if you got an extra $20, go in, sit down in that chair.
Who did it?
Some old gal at the barbershop.
Okay.
I don't know. It's one of those Richie places there.
Hey,
in
you
Bentonville.
What barbershop was it?
Hawk something.
Because I've got a friend of the podcast here that I've shamefully never gone to him.
I'll just
need
be
to.
honest. I feel a
Drew.
responsibility to kind of calibrate everything that's being said for Bear John and just let him know not a good idea to refer to women as some old gal.
Some old gal.
Especially women who get to hold razors close to your face when your eyes are closed.
Well, your beard looks really good.
Hudson Hawk in Bentonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did a fine job. That
looked
nice
good.
lady.
That,
Do you
that
think-
old gal did good.
If you rub some of that coon grease on your
Oh,
head,
boy.
maybe that cures baldness too.
Have you tried bear grease?
On my, to eat? Yeah.
No, to cure baldness.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's
just
a
don't really
lot
care?
of advantages to not having hair on top of your head.
All right, let's
No
hear
kidding.
them.
Well,
Number
you,
them.
You don't have to go get a haircut.
Number 1.
You ain't got to wash it.
Number 2.
You
have
don't
to,
wash your
You
head.
don't have to comb it.
No.
He didn't have to wash his hair because it's not there.
The water just beads off the top. Man.
Hey,
I've got an indoor shower.
Let me.
Gosh.
I want to give a little bit of information about what you just said, the foundations of it, because I just learned this. You know, they say that bear grease, the folklore around bear grease is that it's a cure for baldness. That's a long time folklore. It's in the literature.
It says it on the shirt.
Yeah, it says it. It says it on the bear grease shirt. Good point.
Yeah.
I learned where that came from. Is that when the Europeans first started interacting with Native Americans, the Native Americans, bear grease was a major part of their economy for all kind of different reasons, and they extensively used, especially the tribes in the southeast. That's where this came from, but probably other tribes used bear grease in their hair. Like they grease their hair. Like that was a major deal to bear grease their hair. And Native American men had incredible hair.
You bet.
That's a true story. And so the white guys that came over here, the Europeans that were all going bald and saw
found a
these Native
correlation.
Americans with big, beautiful hair, they assumed that it was the bear grease that kept them from going bald. And
I'm willing to be your test dummy, but I'm going to need a lot of pillowcases because I ain't sleeping on some greasy pillowcase.
I feel like you got to catch it before you go bald.
Is that what it is?
think
you don't
so.
think it'll regrow hair?
I don't think it will. I don't know.
I'm concerned now that I know the history that this was a correlation, not causation issue.
Well, and it's
Classic.
lasted long into folklore.
Okay.
I mean, I've had people.
We've sent some
I've had
bear grease
people,
home with people.
and it's gone around the world. I've had more than one person not from America contact me wanting bear grease for baldness.
Really?
No doubt.
Have you done muck tuck?
Negative.
Next time I'm up, I'm
well
gonna bring,
fat.
Yeah.
I've eaten it. I mean, I'm not. I've got a nice head of hair, Joe. I'm not.
I tell you what, that
all
muck
that
tuck
bear
will do. It'll make you lose weight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because once you swallow it, whatever you had yesterday will come up with it. It is
It's tough.
muck tuck, where we go up in Alaska. The Inuits, you'll see them on, like in Anchorage, they'll be on the side of the road with a butter knife, a big chunk of well fat, and some Ritz crackers.
Oh, my gosh.
And they love it. So I've made friends with a couple Inuits, and as a going home gift, they gave me a big old chunk of well fat. I keep it in my freezer just to torture people when they come by the house. Now I'm going to have some well fat and some coon grease.
Hey, you take that home with you. You can have it.
When I have had muck tuck one time, and it was beautiful. It was this cream white with this black.
Like a wetsuit on the top of
Yep,
it.
and it was the skin. I assumed. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it was cut real thin, and it was like the coloration was beautiful, and the consistency was like rubber. And I ate it, and I've never had a food that like lit up my world with exactly what I thought it would taste
You
like.
thought it was going to be fishy?
I mean, it tasted like the ocean.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't fishy. Like a fish, it's like that tastes like a fish. Muktuk tastes like the ocean. Like my world just lit up, and I saw like it was almost like an out of body experience. I'm kind of exaggerating.
Yeah, I was thinking
but it tasted more like like when you eat a deer, like it doesn't taste like
The woods.
the wood. Like you don't. So, anyway,
that's perfect.
Ready to win Mother's Day and cement your reputation as the best gift giver in the family? Give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. She'll love looking back on these memories and seeing what you're up to today. Even better, with unlimited storage and an easy-to-use app, you can keep updating mom's frame with new photos, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. And this is not a joke. Juju Newcomb has an Aura frame, and we share photos, and they're incredible. Also, my mother-in-law has one. We have them. They truly are really good, really high quality. The Aura frame is easy to set up. It takes just 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. It also adjusts the display depending on light levels in the room to maintain the true color of your photos. For real, the digital screen is amazing. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame when you use code BEAR, B-E-A-R, BEAR. That's auraframes.com. Use code BEAR at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. I've had a Helix Sleep mattress for over 2 years, and it is for sure the nicest mattress that I've ever slept on. I've slept much better in the last 2 years, been more comfortable than I have for my whole life. And that's true. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix has several different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/clay and use the code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer yet and won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. The old-timers say that the turkeys start gobbling when the leaves are as big as squirrels' ears and the red buds start popping. And we're about there. And we are there in the South. The Onyx Hunt app is one of my most valuable tools in the spring woods. With tools like coniferous versus deciduous tree distribution layer, you can save time by locating edges or transition areas of mixing habitats from home. Find an area like this with water in close proximity, and more than likely, there will be a gobbling turkey nearby. Knowing the exact boundaries of private ground ensures I stay on the right side of the fence, but can easily find public ground to go see if I can't strike a gobbler. If you do get one to sound off, using compass mode and waypoints will help you pinpoint his exact location, allowing you to move in and make the perfect setup to bring him right into your lap. Download the Onyx Hunt app today. You'll be glad you did. Onyx has a special offer for you. Use code BEARGREASE to receive 20% off your membership at onyxmaps.com/hunt this spring. So, Hayden, you're a musician.
I play music, yes.
Play country music. How long you been playing music?
There's a picture of me with a guitar when I was like 4.
Did your parents, were they musicians?
My dad plays the guitar. Mom and dad both sang in church a lot, so
Okay.
kind of where that came from.
Did you grew up on a cattle farm?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Hey, my dad looks practically identical to Randy Owens of Alabama.
Okay.
Well, he did when he had hair. He suffers from
He needs some
the
Bear
same
Grease.
baldness.
So
He's a good
So
man.
you
I know.
came
Yeah,
from
he
a
is.
family of musicians,
Yeah.
and you're 24 years old.
Yes, I am. But my uncles on my dad's side, it would be my granny's brothers. They played in Patsy Cline's band.
Who again now?
It would be my great uncles. So it's on my dad's side, it's my dad's
Okay.
mom's brothers.
Okay.
So,
So there's some family heritage inside
Yeah.
of music.
yeah. And Granny,
A
she
lot
was the
like
only
my
girl.
family, Hayden. You know, I'm glad you brought it up, but I come from a long line of talented musicians.
I can't wait to
I'm
hear.
just one in,
Oh,
the,
yeah.
in the line.
Name
But we'll
one.
talk about you, though. Go,
Name
go
one.
ahead.
Golly.
No, so, but you play like classic country music. You sound like
Country.
George Strait.
Country music.
Is that
George Strait, yeah. Like if George Strait and Ronnie Dunn had a child, I feel like that would be me.
Am I wrong in saying that? It's possible I have the wrong country music.
I've
singer.
not heard them to.
Oh gosh,
No, he's a little more twangy.
I'm twangy. I'm pretty twangy.
He's pretty.
Well, who am I thinking of then?
I feel like Ronnie Dunn. Maybe Ronnie Dunn. I've been told I sound kind of like Ronnie Dunn, just not as good.
I think we ought to hear it.
We will. We're going to get you to play something later. But, okay, tell me about. So you at one time you were in Nashville for a while. Like where are you at with your music?
I've been quit for the last year.
Okay.
Just because I was in Nashville. I didn't live in Nashville, but I went there a lot, and I went to a lot of award shows and stuff. Got nominated for a few things, and just wasn't the life that I wanted. You know,
I hear you.
The big city and drugs and alcohol all around. I just didn't want that. So
Yeah.
came back home, started writing a lot more, and made a lot of good friends in music. Merle Haggard's lead guitar player, Joe Hampton, we're really good friends. Keith Whitley's son, Jesse, we're pretty good buddies. And I've met a lot of big timers.
So
Tim McGraw.
are you still pursuing? Like I don't. If
I
you're
like 'em.
not, I would love it if you just said. Yeah, I actually have a lot of respect for people that try to go down a road that's really hard and
Yeah.
then just admit that it's like, hey, this isn't the pathway for me. 'Cause,
That's the thing is, I was doing it, and everybody was kind of on me, like, you've got to do it, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And one day I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't think I want this. And
yeah.
I mean, we were playing every weekend and stuff, and it was getting hard. It was becoming a job. It wasn't fun anymore, you know. So I pretty well quit. But
Okay.
then this is no kidding. 2 weeks ago, I've been praying about the last 2 months. I'm a religious person. I've been praying about the last 2 months. I finally quit the way I pray, and I say, Lord, let your will be done in my life. Instead of, Lord, give me music. I want it so bad. I've changed it. And then all of a sudden, you know, Clay Newcomb invites me to come play some music on a podcast. So, I mean, we might be getting fired back up. This might be the top of it here.
I hear you. But you're writing. You're writing some.
Yep.
So so you still playing some.
Oh yeah, I play. I enjoy writing more than I do. I'm a lyricist. Like if a song don't make sense to me, I don't really like it. I like wordy stuff. I like Willie Nelson. He had a lot of wordy stuff, but he can't hardly sing very good. So, but
I'm with you.
he had wordy stuff, and I liked it. But Dean Dillon, one of the best writers ever,
Wrote for George Strait.
you bet. And he's a wordy and melody type person that, I mean, heck of a writer.
So what does somebody do when they try to get into the music industry? Like what was your pathway?
I fell into it. I won a state beta convention. I went up there and sang a George Strait song, and I won.
See, I was right.
Yeah, and I went to nationals, and we placed like 10th, I think, maybe, in that. And then here it came. Everybody started calling, and we created a band and hammered down. And went to Nashville, playing all those award shows, and decided I didn't really like it. I liked riding my mule, being away from people more
That's
than
good.
I do.
Well, you know,
in the city.
today more than ever probably is a space for people that don't have to. I mean, you can produce music wherever you live.
Yeah.
You can distribute music wherever you live.
Yep.
You know, there's so many, channels these days for distribution of music.
Yep.
It feels like with some of these guys, they haven't gone the traditional route
Yeah.
through Nashville or other
Haven't
hubs.
paid your dues. A lot of them, I mean, they haven't even played in a bar and got beer bottles thrown at them, you know?
I think it would surprise people how little money these musicians are chasing. You know,
Yep.
whenever it's costing them money
Oh, yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
And some good friends of mine, you know, they'll go all the way down from here to Florida to play for $300. And
They were getting paid?
they got paid.
Wow.
They got paid, but you know, you do it because you're paying your dues, right? And you
right.
pay your dues till you get to the point where someone gives you a contract. You hope that
Yep.
contract is legit. You're not gonna get rolled over on that deal.
I had a contract offered to me, and I rolled it around and got to looking at the fine print on it, and they were wanting me to wear skinny jeans and stuff.
Wait a minute.
And,
What?
and lose the cowboy hat, and ain't about that.
I think you could get real pretty if you.
I think I could.
I mean, you kill that barber I went to the other day.
Get my hair cut.
Yeah.
and,
Call her by her right name, and who knows what you might come out looking like.
I just called her ma'am, Missy. I was just gonna go with ma'am.
I'm gonna say, hey, old Joe told me to see an old gal in here that could cut my hair.
I'll tell you this, y'all. I'm thirsty and I want to drink that water, but I'm afraid that coon grease is like Rain-X all through my mouth or something. It's just gonna beat
Still
up.
taste
Is
it?
it still there?
Gonna be
Oh, it's with me.
It's with you.
Yeah.
Is she not leaving anytime soon?
No, it's
Wow.
It's here with me.
Is it good?
Tell
Oh,
me
it's-
about your mules, Hayden. How many mules you got? Does your family have?
I own two mules, 2 horses. Dad has 2 mules. He had 3. He had a team. One of them just died. She was 34.
Really?
Yeah.
A team, so they pull the wagon?
Yeah. He is all about the wagon stuff.
Really?
Yeah. He's been wanting me to break one of my mules to pull with his other mule.
Does he ever go to the wagon races up here?
No, he's pretty laid back. He don't like going fast. So
Yeah. Imagine that. Somebody with a wagon
Yeah.
not wanting to go fast.
it's weird.
So did your family grow up with mules? Did you have mules when you grew up or horses?
Listen to this. My dad, just like any 5-year-old, I want a horse, you know. So he goes and gets me a horse. He paid $100 for this horse, and he got a sack of feed with it. So he comes back, and it's this paint horse that is a bag of bones, and he's a stud, and he's never been rode. So he said, "Here you go. Here's your horse." So that's when I started riding. But he was so poor, you could get on him, and he couldn't buck. That's how poor he was. He was.
Heck,
he
you were
starved.
5 and flexible.
You bet. I bounced. But he threw me up there, and I rode that horse. I gave him to a kid. That horse ended up being a heck of a horse because I rode it every day. And my dad ended up getting it cut because he was pretty stutty. But I rode it every day, religiously every day. And I ended up getting mules and other horses and stuff, and he was getting up in his teens. And a boy was splitting wood for my dad. He was probably 10, and he was wanting a horse bad. And he was out there petting that horse one day, and I went and talked to his dad. I said, "You mind if I give him that horse?" And he's like, "Yeah,
As
go
long
ahead."
as it comes with a bag of feed.
Yeah. So ended up, I went over there. That boy was petting on it. I walked up to him in the field, and I said, "If you want that horse, go ask your dad. Y'all can have it." And he still got it now, and that was 4 or 5 years ago, probably. So
Okay.
he's a good one. His name
So-
is Doc.
What kind of describe to me your mules?
Well, they got long ears.
Good start. It's a good
and long
start.
heads. I've got Kate. She is 23.
Wow.
22. She's 22. She's 14 hands, pretty small. And
22 years old.
she goes where you point
Older
her.
than Bear.
That's right. And she'll go anywhere you point her. And you can shoot off of her. You can shoot a gun off of her. You can shoot
Yeah.
your bow off of her. You can stand up on her and do whatever you want. I packed out 2 pigs on her. We were hog hunting down in Arkadelphia with my buddy Aaron, and they had a boy was dragging one that was alive behind his horse, and my mule, I guess she had never seen one. She went up there and sniffed of it and then she went to pawing the heck out of that booger.
Is that right?
Yeah. And everybody was making fun of me because I showed up with them loaded in the back of my truck and got out, and everybody's making fun of me, calling me dumb and stuff.
Why?
Because I ride a mule.
Oh, man. Where do these guys live?
Yeah, we're going to go find them.
They live amongst them double wides.
Let's pause your story just for a second. Remember where you're at. We're at the hog story, and you're describing Kate. I was reading a book yesterday. I woke up real early yesterday for no good reason, like before 4 a.m., and just couldn't go to sleep. And so I woke up and I started reading this book I'm reading. I won't tell you what it is, but the guy in this is a true story. This guy, he was a drug dealer, okay? True story. And he was using an Appaloosa horse ranch as the front of his marijuana growing operation. And right there in the pages of that book, he said that he was going to buy a horse, and he said it was so ugly it looked like a mule.
Oh, man.
And I gasped I was trying to be quiet.
You
and I just
closed
went,
the book.
Oh my, what?
I
literally gasped and underlined it in a big question mark. And I said, what? But the book was written back in like the 1990s. Well, it actually was written in the early 2000s. But he had only been a horse breeder from back in the 80s. So I think he hadn't been updated that mules are now like really cool.
Oh, they're top of the line. The Cowboy Cadillac
Yeah.
is what I call them.
So
There we
when
go.
did mules jump to the top of the line?
When me and Hayden started
Okay,
riding.
I
That's
just want to
right.
make sure. I just want to make sure for all the listeners that everyone understands when that turning
Mules are
point
worth
happened.
more than horses
We
right
might
now.
very well be in the midst of a revolution.
That's right. I'm saying it right now. It is. Everybody's going to be riding mules
Yeah.
in the next. It's cool to go backwards now. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Is
Can
that
you-
all part of this green initiative? Like once
eco.
if we're not going to have that battery powered rig, we just got to go straight to
You
mule.
got to have a mule.
I
Straight
got
to a
you.
mule.
Yeah, it all
Okay,
makes sense.
back to your story. So you're hauling. These guys make fun of.
Yeah.
And me and you are gonna go.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
go
I'm not
find
a
them.
violent person.
I'm
I've
not
actually
either, but-
never been in a.
You'll use your words. You'll confront them with your words.
Well, or we might just fist fight them. I mean, I might just.
I mean, the one he's like
Bear,
6'5".
We've got so much to clear
and,
out.
Oh, really?
And he's been overseas, so
Okay.
we'll
He'd
try
be
to
pretty
steer
tough.
clear of him.
Okay.
And
But he made fun of your mule when
he
you
rides
pulled
a
up.
mare, so
Okay.
he's kind of odd too. Me and him,
Okay.
he wasn't actually making fun of me. The other guys were.
Okay. Well, he's
Nathan
okay. We'll
Wells.
give him a pass. We'll give
I ain't
him
gonna
a
mention
pass.
no names, but
Name
mention
drop
any
on the Bear
names.
Grease podcast.
Give Nathan a pass.
No, Nathan's the bad one. Aaron was a good one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Got it.
yeah, they made fun of me, and as soon as old Kate went to whacking on that hog, I think one of them asked, "How much would you take for her?"
Oh, really?
Changed their mind right there.
Change their mind.
bean burritos
Yeah,
ready.
burrito's done.
So Kate is your 22-year-old mule. You got another one?
She's a baby. Crash.
Oh, wow. That's not a good name for a mule.
Well, he was named before me, so what do?
Okay.
You can't change him.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Yeah, I pretty
bad luck.
much knew that.
It's bad luck.
It's like a boat, right? You can't rename a boat either.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Hey, when you get done, I've got a little update on my mule. But so you
On
have a
Banjo?
mule named Crash.
Yeah, I do. He's like 13.2 hands.
Okay, so that's small.
He's getting pretty small.
A hand is 4 inches.
A hand is a finger, a finger, a finger, a hand. That's how I've always met. Because everybody always says he's
He just did his
13
fingers like 1, 2, 3, 4. He
four
says
is
hand.
a hand.
There you go.
Everybody always says this horse is 14.5 hands. There's no such thing as a 0.5 on a hand. There's only a 1, 2, and a 3, and then it's a hand. So you got 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 15.
Got it. Yeah.
That
That's
drives
a
me
good
crazy.
that's a
I
good
don't know why it
description.
does, but it does.
That's so 14 and a. If somebody said 14 and a half, they would be saying 14.2.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
I've
in
been
between
guilty
1
of
and
that.
3.
I've been guilty of that before.
I was actually bringing it up because of you.
You wanted to confront me. I get it.
No, Crash, he's He's 13, and he's a pack mule.
You don't ride him?
I mean, you can, but he's just plow reiner, really. He's not. He's kind of weird about people being behind him, too. Mules are a little odd, peculiar. But
the good ones, you got to break that peculiar out of them.
See, Grady Hawthorne told me, and he lives over there by David Albright.
Okay.
They're next door neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Grady told me there's good mules and there's bad mules. There's no in between. I mean, he said that's it. And he's broke them. He's 82, I think, and he's broke them his whole life.
Yeah.
And he said there's nothing better than a good mule, and he said there's nothing worse than a bad mule.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But Crash, he's in the middle. He's not bad or good. So
that doesn't even exist.
I know. That's what I'm in a dilemma right now.
He has an existential crisis.
Missy, I'd say that mule probably is worth even more money since they're so rare.
Yeah. Well, I think the one in the middle is on its way down to a crash.
Yeah.
It's on its way down to a wreck.
That's right. That's why his name's Crash. I don't know.
So here's my mule update. Is that I got a new mule. I'll show him to you.
The little one out there.
Yeah, the one in the corral out there.
How old is that?
8 months old.
Okay.
And it's a pretty black mule with 4 white sock feet.
Yeah, good looking.
Yeah, we thought we had many names. I got the mule and the guy didn't name it. He was just like, the mule's kind of had my name on it for a while. And so he weaned this mule and got it when it was 8 months old. And I thought about naming it Jet. We thought about naming it another name that was of a family member that we can't. We decided not to name it after the family member.
But I accidentally still call it.
But the mule's name is Slow Trap.
Smooth. I mean, like you're talking about a mule when you say that's old slow
that's
trap.
old slow trap.
Well, and I know the name doesn't like roll off the tongue, but it came to me again on an early morning reading session, and I just woke up and I just like declared it, and there was no debate. Before the mule's name, I was asking the family, like, what do you think? You think we should call it Jet? Should we call it this or that? And I just like woke up and I was like, the mule's name is Slow Trap.
And where'd you get Slow Trap?
Slow Trap was a good friend of Frederick Gerstacker.
Uh-oh.
I reread my Gerstacker book, this book Wild Sports, which is probably one of my favorite books in the world.
I've got that book.
It's about Arkansas.
Yeah.
And a lot of the adventures in this true story take place in Arkansas. And one of Gerstacker's dear friends, and I had forgotten about him because he's not a central character, but his name was Slow Trap. And he was from the Fouche-Lafay area. The Fouche-Lafay River is south of the Arkansas River, runs into the Arkansas in the Ouachitas. And Slow Trap was like an eccentric but very skilled woodsman. And anyway, there's some Gerstacker talks about a lot of really unique stuff about Slow Trap, which we won't get into. But when I read it, I was like, that mule's name is Slow Trap.
I mean, but for short, you just call him Slow or Trap. You don't have to say Slow Trap.
That's a good. I hadn't even thought about it. We'd call it Trap.
That's like my dad's mule. She's a black mule that's got white stockings, and her name is Fancy, and he was trying to change it to something else. I was like, you can't do that. Her name's already Fancy. You can't do it. She's 13 years old. What would you do if your name was changed whenever
Name her Fancy Old Gal.
Well, he started calling her.
There you go.
He started calling her Fan or Fanny. So
Okay,
I mean,
that's fair game.
I call her Fancy.
Okay, do you ever shoe your do you shoe your mules? Not personally, but are your mules shod?
Yeah, one of them is, yes.
One of them,
Kate.
just one you're using a lot.
She's got bad feet. Yeah.
Oh, really?
The guy that had her before me, kind of let her feet go, and we're working on getting her built back up now.
Okay.
But
Do you ever shoe your mules?
me personally,
Yeah.
no.
You don't do any farrier work?
I would say the name of the guy who does it, but he said he doesn't want any more work. So,
Okay.
but he's an exceptional. He does a great job on them.
Well, let him know if he needs any tips from me. Just you can give him my phone number, okay?
Hey, they make those Velcro boots. You slip over them now. I've heard those are pretty cool.
Ready to win Mother's Day and cement your reputation as the best gift giver in the family? Give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. She'll love looking back on these memories and seeing what you're up to today. Even better, with unlimited storage and an easy-to-use app, you can keep updating mom's frame with new photos, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. And this is not a joke. Juju Newcomb has an Aura frame, and we share photos, and they're incredible. Also, my mother-in-law has one. We have them. They truly are really good, really high quality. The Aura frame is easy to set up. It takes just 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. It also adjusts the display depending on light levels in the room to maintain the true color of your photos. For real, the digital screen is amazing. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame when you use code BEAR, B-E-A-R, BEAR. That's auraframes.com. Use code BEAR at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. The old-timers say that the turkeys start gobbling when the leaves are as big as squirrels' ears and the red buds start popping. And we're about there. And we are there in the South. The onX Hunt app is one of my most valuable tools in the spring woods. With tools like coniferous versus deciduous tree distribution layer, you can save time by locating edges or transition areas of mixing habitats from home. Find an area like this with water in close proximity, and more than likely, there will be a gobbling turkey nearby. Knowing the exact boundaries of private ground ensures I stay on the right side of the fence, but can easily find public ground to go see if I can't strike a gobbler. If you do get one to sound off, using compass mode and waypoints will help you pinpoint his exact location, allowing you to move in and make the perfect setup to bring him right into your lap. Download the onX Hunt app today. You'll be glad you did. onX has a special offer for you. Use code BEARGREASE to receive 20% off your membership at onxmaps.com/hunt this spring. We've all seen plenty of gadgets and fads come and go, but here's one product that stood the test of time: Seafoam motor treatment. Lots of hunters and anglers know that Seafoam helps engines run better and last longer. It's really simple. When you pour it in your gas tank, Seafoam cleans harmful fuel deposits that cause engine problems. I'm talking common stuff like hard starts, rough engine performance, or lost fuel economy. Seafoam is an easy way to prevent or overcome these problems. Just pour a can in your gas tank and let it clean your fuel system. You probably know someone who's used a can of Seafoam to get their truck or boat going again. People everywhere rely on Seafoam to keep their trucks, boats, and small engines running the way they should the entire season. Help your engine run better and last longer. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit seafoamworks.com to learn more.
Now, Joe, there's many things in this world that a man shouldn't bring up publicly or post pictures of what he does.
I've probably done them all.
Well, the list is long.
We
But
may be thinking about two different types of
on the short list is doing anything with the foot of an equine, like putting shoes on it. People, they come out of the woodwork. The second one is anything that has to do with bees.
Yeah, the bee people come out. Apiary?
Apiary people.
Well, yeah. Beekeepers.
Very
Very passionate and dogmatic. I think
passionate and unable, like incapable of just seeing somebody do something a certain way and not telling you or whoever else how it absolutely should be done.
The world view of every beekeeper, whether it's the same as the beekeeper to the next to them, is absolutely rigid and absolutist.
It's like cooking brisket.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Same
Tell us.
deal.
We didn't know that.
Oh,
Well, do you but when you post a brisket, like a picture of a brisket,
Yeah, you
people
gotta
don't
eat.
criticize you, do they?
my briskets? No. I'm kind of a master of the filters on that iPhone.
Okay.
You know, I could do some shading,
Okay.
kind of crop a little bit, do some work.
Okay.
I mean, I can make a 4-pound bass look like it's as big as a tree. I've got some skills in it. But brisket cooking is the same deal, man, because you got to have that color of the bark, right? Then it goes all the way back to the trim. Oh, you should have trimmed it a little different. Yeah,
Okay.
barbecue guys
could
are that
see
same
that.
deal. They're
I
a
could
lot
see
like a
that.
beekeeper, and they never even knew it.
They didn't know.
They didn't know until
And
they
a
did.
And
And-
I had no idea. It was the most overwhelming thing in the world to me. I was so excited to, keep my first bees.
Yeah.
And I didn't put a picture, Clay put a picture up. And I mean, people came out of the woodwork, otherwise kind people came out of the woodwork
Oh, yeah.
to offer all sorts of advice. And every time someone heard I was keeping bees, they said, well, you know this, you know that, you're supposed to do this. Rules.
It was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming.
Are you better at it now, or you just give up?
Well, no one's rules are the same.
That's right.
I mean, there's.
And we still got bees and we got honey.
There's not
true.
a set way to do something.
I'm a minimalist in everything. It turns out, like,
Yeah, that's important.
and it. I think I'm actually. I don't think I could market myself as a minimalist in the way that people do, but at my very core, I think I'm more minimalistic than anyone I know. I genuinely don't like things.
I'll give you this, Missy. When you cook that brisket, send the picture to me first. I'll filter and crop it. We'll put it out there.
right, and see what happens.
We'll make it
okay,
work. Yeah.
all right.
The critiques will be way down low.
Okay.
Nice.
I got a question for the singer over here.
Yep.
He's looking over his shoulder. Do you wake up to a song? Like, do you dream about a song? Have you ever woke up and written down
Yeah, absolutely.
what you were dreaming about? There was
yeah.
music in
There's
your dream.
I recorded a song that I had a dream about and woke up in the middle of the night, 10 minutes, wrote it. There it is. It's called Rio Grande.
Really?
It's
There-
on all the stuff.
There's a lot of people who will sit for hours and hours and
I
try
can't
to
do that.
drive in a song, try to build a song. And then there's guys that just, their songs.
I think God gives you your songs, the good heartfelt songs, minus Rio Grande, because Rio Grande's about killing people because it was a Western. It's a Western themed, and ends up this guy's wife who the man got shot. She ends up killing the guy who shot her husband.
Oh, wow, it got
it's a
dark
crazy,
quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I'm not sure this is BG appropriate.
yeah, but it's, I mean, we're talking about coon grease, so
Yeah.
everything's appropriate now.
Everything's fair game after that.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah.
I wrote one the day after Christmas, coming from an old cabin. I sent you a picture of it. Coming from an old cabin. The story to that, can I tell that right now?
Sure.
The story to this cabin, it's on National Forest.
So he sent me a picture of an old log cabin.
Yeah. Well, it was built in like 1918. All right, so that's over 100 years ago. I was riding mules and I found it. And I was like, what the heck is that? I just seen the roof of it. Found it, walked up there, and I was like, I got to know what this is. But automatically I start thinking moonshine, It's on Forest Service.
Right.
Arkansas mountains. It's moonshine. Got to be. Can't not be. So I go to thinking about moonshine, and this was last winter that I found it, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And Dalton Hill, a buddy of mine in Glenwood, he told me, because I told him about it. I was like, "Have you ever seen that?" Because he lives over there pretty close. I was like, "Have you seen this cabin?" He said, yeah, it's got a crazy story behind it. I was like, what is it? He said,
There was someone there named Rio Grande.
yeah, and his wife. No, he said that a man come out there with his daughter and was building that cabin. And this ain't no it's bigger than this place we're sitting in right now. It ain't no 10 by 10. It's like a 25 by 20. It's a big cabin. And a man and his daughter were out there, and he was building that cabin for them to live. And this is from Glenwood. being 1918, it would take an hour and a half to get to Glenwood by wagon or mule or whatever. So
Depends who was driving the wagon.
Yeah,
but
if it was my dad, it would take like 3 hours.
Yeah.
If it was a chuck wagon guy, it'd be like 15 minutes. But
there you go.
His daughter was playing around, and she ended up getting rattlesnake bit. So he picks her up and takes her to the nearest doctor, wherever that may be, in 1918, and never showed back up. So the government, I guess, took the land, and they haven't done anything with the cabin. It's just, but if you get on Onyx, you can see like an 80 that is thinner than the rest of the forest. It's pretty sweet.
Huh.
But I got to thinking about moonshine, and I was
Should have
over
been
there.
thinking about rattlesnakes.
Yeah. And I was over there the day after Christmas, and I was like, man. And then I started writing a song. And by the time I was home, which took 15 minutes, the song was written.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, I think, like, you know, you got that audio book coming out
Yes.
this week.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
I haven't heard about that.
And so, but for a guy to write a story like they've written,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. I'm sure you probably woke up to paragraphs that you needed to add, right?
I not on that deal particularly, but yes, 100%. Just when you're writing in general, yeah, you kind of have moments of clarity that you try to capture because they escape quickly. They can.
So when you guys, both of you, when you thoroughly wake up, like you woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and wrote this song down, and then you wake up at 6.
Yeah.
Is it just a mess, or is it really there?
I've thrown a lot of stuff over my shoulder.
Really?
Yeah. Just,
I think
see.
storytelling and songwriting kind of
yeah.
parallel each
Yeah.
other in a lot of ways. Because a good song is a story.
It's just a story.
I've learned that you have to capture stuff quickly. Sometimes I write notes on my phone, like when I'm talking to Misty about stuff, and I have to tell her, hey, I'm not texting, I'm writing stuff. Because to me, it's the junctures of connection between two things. Because inside of the kind of writing that I'm doing for different things, you have actual data that you're not creating. Like if you're talking about history, you've got some data.
Yeah.
But then you have this other piece of data that might be, and sometimes the uniqueness comes in how two things are connected or how you would bridge from this thing to this thing. Or it might be the events in someone's life, how you tell a story and get from here to here. Most of my creative moments that I have to capture come in, that's the connection. And then, and you kind of think that you're going to be able to remember it.
And you're not.
And so maybe it's my
No.
maybe it's my age, but
No, I think what you're saying.
I'll write
is-
it down.
Yeah.
I have to do the same thing, and I'm how many years younger than you?
okay.
So
I would think that the listeners of Bear Grease, because they're all fans of how you're telling the story,
yeah,
I think that the listeners, because the way that you put words together are different than anybody else
yeah.
in podcasting, as far as I know.
That's the difference between me and him. It's like he's good at telling stories and sounding good and using big words. I'm pretty good at putting it in a song because I can't talk very good. So it's like he's good at storytelling. I'm good at songwriting, which is a story, but it's just short.
hey, what you're tracking on there about songwriting and writing be the same. I've said this to Misty before. If I could sing, probably as good as Hayden. If I could sing as good as Hayden, there wouldn't be a Bear Grease podcast. I would be a musician.
Let me just say. Oh, thank God Clay can't sing.
No, because the desire to storytell
Yeah.
in music
Right.
is kind of it's kind of there's a link there.
I might play the moonshining song. It's called Montgomery. It's called Montgomery County Shine.
No way.
You bet. I live in Montgomery County, by the way.
I want to hear it.
I think I'm in on listening to it.
Well, let's hear it. Now's the time. Now's the time. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll brag on Clay while you're getting that git fiddle out of that
Okay,
case
good.
over there.
I might have to
Hey,
tune it.
I tell you what, we're
Please
gonna
brag on
we're
him in
gonna
just
have
a
to
second.
we're gonna have to take a full time out though. So you just wrote this. This is the first time you've sang it
I've sang it just to myself
to yourself
and my wife.
in your head.
Well, I had the guitar with me.
I'm kidding.
In my head, yes, also.
Oh, I can't wait.
On the
This is
way
fresh,
home-
authentic.
On the way home, it was nothing but in my head. Yeah, I didn't have a guitar. I was driving that old Dodge pickup. Coming home
from
Yeah.
this old cabin.
Yeah. Are you ready for it?
All right, let's hear it. First time ever been played publicly.
There's an old abandoned cabin on a section line. They used to run it out, the old moonshine, until they shot him down. Shot him from behind, all for that Montgomery County shine.
Like it.
We can't grow crops on the ridge lines, and there ain't no work. You can't make a dime. It's all that he knew. Pappy passed it down the line, all for that Montgomery County shine. Ho, ho, hey, hey, they're gonna find you, but not today. Ho, ho, my, all for that Montgomery County shine.
Like it.
Well, a revenue man went searching high, but Grandpappy left like a fox is sly. And 10-year-old me, I wouldn't catch an eye running that Montgomery County shine. Well, they found us one day. I held my hands up high. I watched it all go down. I watched my pappy die. And 20 years later, I'm on the outside, still running that old Montgomery County shine. Ho, ho, hey, hey, they're gonna catch you, but not today. Ho, ho, my, all for that Montgomery County shine. I was running that Montgomery County shine. I'm running that Montgomery County shine.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably the best. Real close, but probably the best song ever sang on the render.
Yes, no doubt. I love it, man.
I can guarantee it's the best song on the 2024 model.
So far.
Hayden, that's great, man.
Hey,
It really was.
It was good.
see, my voice has changed quite a lot. My style in the last 2 years, really.
Riding mules will do that to a man.
It does. Yeah,
But
it does.
you're a stud, man. That's
Appreciate
great.
it.
That
It
was
was good.
great. That was
Appreciate
great. Don't you think Bear should pick up the guitar and learn to
I
play?
feel like you should play this one.
I think he looks like a real natural with it.
Yeah.
I
looks good.
caught him the other day strumming on a guitar.
Hey, Tim McGraw's played that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Bear
No,
doesn't know who that is.
No, no clue.
No, okay. Now I got to bring this up because this. So we're typically on the render. We're talking about the episode that just came out, and here we are an hour in, and we haven't even talked about it. Montgomery County Shine, though. Louis Dell and Charlie Edwards, one of our most listened to series, Genuine Outlaw series. Louis Dell in the 1990s, I think 92 or 91, got arrested for making moonshine.
It happens.
In the you'll have that on the big jobs.
Yeah.
He got arrested for making moonshine right on the border of Montgomery County.
Like the Polk side of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for real. Like,
Those Polk
right
County
there.
people, you got to watch
You
them.
gotta watch
Yeah. Anyway, Montgomery County Shine, man. We think about Louis Dell and Charlie Edwards. But like I got to say it, though, because we've been talking about moonshine. My buddy T.L. Jones, East Tennessee, who was Barry Tarleton's grandson. If you remember, we did the thing about the plot hunt, the plot hound sheriff in East Tennessee. T.L. Jones, he kind of frowns on me.
He was against it.
Well, he just says we treat moonshine way too lax. Like back in the days, like these were things that wrecked communities. Just like the song,
Just
Montgomery
like the song.
County Shine.
Yeah.
He got killed.
Yeah.
So TL, you were right.
He got shot in the back.
Oh,
at
wow.
that.
Yeah.
The
no
first
doubt.
line right there,
No, that was it's a good story. I like it.
Appreciate it.
Cool, man. So the last Bear Grease will be the last time in the foreseeable future that we do a classic.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, I'm very excited. Well, I mean, we could have spent this whole time talking about the Daniel Boone series. That I said it in the intro to the rerun of this classic, that when I made that first Daniel Boone episode, I did not think people would like it, Joe. It was too compared to what I had done, and it was early. It was like episode maybe it was episode 14 or something.
It was a lot of history.
Yeah.
But told in a way that common folks like myself could sit there.
Yep.
And man, you're doing play-by-play on these things. Like you're having, since it's just your voice, you're having to build the picture of what I'm listening to. And you sell it well in that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of talent to build up a story like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's hard to do. Tell a story to where you're like, all right, what's going on?
When I kind of just giving a little peek behind the curtain, I made the decision I was going to do a podcast on Daniel Boone. And so I start, reading everything about Boone. I didn't even know Robert Morgan was alive, to be honest with you. Robert Morgan wrote me and Steve Rinella's favorite rendition of a Boone biography called Boone by Robert Morgan. I didn't even know if Robert Morgan was alive.
Right.
And I get on the website or get on the internet and I find him. And he lives in New York, and he's a former Cornell professor.
Very gracious.
And I contact him via email, and he's just like, "Come to my house." And at that time too, in the Bear Grease world, I had never really traveled a whole lot, and for just a one-shot deal. And I remember calling my overseer at Meat Eater at that time, and was like, "Hey, dude, is it okay if I go to New York for like a 2-hour interview and then just like come home?"
It's cheaper than a moose tag.
Yeah. And my overseer wasn't Steve Rinella.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody else. Great person. And they were like, "Go for it, man. Heck yeah." And so I just think it, like, now I do that all the time. I've done that now for 3 years. Like we work pretty hard to get interviews with people.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was like we were all like testing the boundaries, because always inside of anything, it's like, how much energy and effort do you have to put towards something, and is it going to be well received? Mm-hmm. And so I interviewed Boone, and then I interviewed Steve Rinella, and I put these two guys together, and it was so much detail, and I got done with an hour-long podcast, and I'd done like hardly any of Boone's life.
Right.
And I was like, shoot, I'm going to have to make this 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then I do 2, and it's like, heck, I'm going to have to make it 3. And I remember thinking, are people going to be bored with this? Are people going to – and it ends up – I mean, the short version is that it ended up being –
one of your best?
Well, and a template for
And
the
first
future
best.
of what Bear Grease would be
Yeah.
kind of a history podcast in some ways, not always. But
I recall the anxiety of just waiting, like for part 2, right? I mean, really, I think most of the listeners, and I speak to everybody as a listener of the show, I think we just looked forward, because the build-up, there's not like a real big teaser at the end, like in a corny movie or something, but there's enough of a teaser to say, and on next week's show, we're going to go through this. And so it keeps the listeners going. You've had a lot of series like that.
yeah. And we learned that we can do series, and you have to. I mean, you just can't accomplish a big section of history in a 50-minute podcast or an hour-long podcast. But Boone was it. That was neat. It was good. But to give a teaser of what's coming, Poachers.
I like the poacher stories.
It's interesting.
I like the poacher stories. Every one of them, from the game warden side to the outlaw side.
Okay, I'm not going to give it away, but we have yet to hear this story from this angle before. Untold story, untold. It's really unique.
Yeah, you better
not talk.
Yeah, Clay is the worst about giving away
You think so?
surprises.
Foreshadowing.
Like, I don't think he could surprise me. I don't know that he actually. I mean,
just wait, Miss.
one
Newton.
time he has. One time he has.
He's going to surprise you when he puts a big old kiss on you with some coon grease.
Coon grease lip balm.
Not
Coon
interested in
grease
that
lip
surprise. TBH. Not interested.
Huh. And the book, the audio book.
Yeah, man. So if you're listening to this podcast the day it comes out, I believe the date is January the 4th. Happy 2024.
Yep.
And the audiobook will be released on January the 9th. And The Long Hunters, Meat Eater American History, The Long Hunters. And it's, I think it's about 6 hours long. And I'm really excited about it. You'll know more about The Long Hunters than anybody on planet Earth other than the people that listened to it before you. So
And Long Hunters was just the distance and the time.
well,
they
it was
spent.
a name that was given to a style of market hunting, and the reason we don't even really know where it came from. We just know when it showed up in the literature.
Some guy probably woke up in the middle of the night like he was going to name a mule.
Yeah.
And said the Long Hunters. No, it's assumed from the context of where it was written, and it wasn't like a poet that wrote it. It was somebody say it was a historical person during that time that referred to the Long Hunters.
And the Long Hunters were packs. It wasn't like an individual, right? Or
A Long Hunter could be an individual, but it had to do with they went on big, extended market hunting trips.
big campaign hunts.
Yeah, they would. Like in Boone's historic 2-year trip into Kentucky was kind of the iconic definer of the Long Hunters because it was a long hunt.
Right.
But it's all about the deerskin trade. So the market hunters were heavily involved in the deerskin trade. They weren't trophy hunters. They weren't hunting because they thought it was fun. These guys were destitute and were trying to find a way to make a living. And you could trespass into areas you shouldn't have supposed to have been legally. Like people in the colonies were not allowed to go beyond the Appalachian Mountains. And I mean, Boone and those guys, they trespassed into Kentucky and could basically make a solid year's income in 3 to 4 months of trapping or deer hunting, and then bring those hides back into the colonies and sell them. And so, I mean, just like today, if you could go, Hayden, make $80,000 in 3 months,
You bet.
I mean, there's probably, especially if the option, your prior option was to make $20,000
Yeah.
working
All
10
year
hours
long.
a day,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised at what you might do.
Yeah.
And so we go into the deerskin, like who was buying deerskins, and they were all going to Europe, and it was a fashion trend, it was a functional trend. Deerskin at that time was basically the denim of today.
So was it like rough out leather? Is that what they were?
It would have been smooth buckskin leather, like the tan deerskin leather gloves, which would have a rough outside, just like a leather today. It's got a smooth side and it's got a rough side.
You'd think you'd want the rough out
Yeah.
on pants.
I sure would.
Unless you're wearing buffalo briefs.
I
or
may
something.
get chafed wearing some of them buckskins.
And if you look, can I say something about how to?
Yeah. So
all
how
right.
do you get on Audible?
So it's an app. The first thing you want to do is it's an app that you download. So you go to your app store on whatever phone you have, and you download it. You can create an Audible account with your Amazon account. So if you have an Amazon account, use that to create your profile, because that's the second thing you're going to have to do, and then you have to pick your Amazon plan. And
Oh wow, this is complicated.
It is. It's a little bit complicated for people.
It is more complicated to listen to a podcast.
It is more complicated, but it's. Let me just say, it's not as hard as you might think. So I've seen a couple comments. I'm a dinosaur. I don't know how to do this.
That's right, doctor.
It's. You got this. You got this. Download the Audible app. Create an account. If you have an Amazon account, you can just use that account. And number 3,
Number 3.
You pick a plan, and you've got several options, and you'll get, the way it works on my account is I get credits, and I can use those
So
credits.
you have a plan. You can get so many books on tape. And let me tell you
and
how
some allow
I
you to
use.
listen unlimited.
I enjoy listening to audiobooks when I'm on long trips, because a podcast on a 8 or 9 hour trip or whatever, just goes by pretty quick. But you put on a book and you can listen to it, or you can listen to it however you want. But so some people have been like, when do you have time to listen to an 8 hour audiobook? And it's like, well, I don't just like sit in my office and like listen to an audiobook. You know what I mean?
You can do it when you work in the garden. You can do it when you ride a mule. You can do it on a road trip.
I'm leery of having ear pods in when I'm riding a mule.
Yeah,
Are
okay.
you?
Yeah, you bet.
You can.
something
so
might
don't
happen.
do
I
it
don't
when you're
know.
riding a mule. You can do it when you can do it as you're driving. I'm just trying to help you out here, Nuke. You can do it on your commute to and from work.
I
Just
do it at my in-laws.
You do it. Okay.
Joe,
Is that bad?
Joe, and you're
get
just
in
sitting over there. You call your mother-in-law gal.
Old gal.
There's old gals in the family,
There are
There's
a
some old
few.
gals.
and it's in my line of work. That's a sign of love.
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Term
That's
of
what my
endearment.
dad is.
Yeah.
He's called my mom woman for 36 years now. Woman. My woman. That's what he called.
My woman.
That's just what it is. I don't know.
Okay.
It's another song
It's
right
a
there.
it's a love.
Yeah.
It's
There
not,
you go.
It's not disrespectful. It's just a I don't know. Not to mom.
Joe.
It isn't.
Sir,
What do you want to tell us? Like, we're closing down here.
Man, I'd
closing thoughts. Tell us what you want to tell us. I
uh,
usually start the podcast when Joe's on and just go, "Welcome to the Bear Grease Podcast."
Here's
Joe,
Joe.
take it away.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were planning.
That's kind of what I'm doing
Was
now,
it?
but
We didn't
we're
prep.
just
We
we
kinda
are
relaxed.
closing down. So
I can talk a bit. Man, September 7th, 2024, we're bringing back the Squirrel Cook-Off. It's going to be at the same
September
place.
7th. That's a good date.
September 7th, I arranged it, tried to get it in there amongst all the hunting seasons
Yes,
and everything,
yes,
so
yes.
no one would complain.
There you go.
Hunters are a lot like beekeepers.
Okay.
You know, they'll
All right.
complain a bunch
All
about
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 people go teal hunting, and you're a fool for having Squirrel Cook-Off on the same day as teal season. So we've got that.
Good job, Joe.
Man, I would tell people that, listening to your show is an educational deal. It doesn't have any boundaries of age or anything like that. I meet more people who have young kids, 8, 9 years old, who enjoy listening to the Bear Grease, both shows, or all 3 shows.
This
I
Country
guess.
Life and Bear Grease.
Yeah. This Country Life's solid, right? If you want something that's completely different, I've got a podcast.
I was wondering where this was going.
It's called Cooking Up a Story with Aaron and Joe's, and we have a new show come out every week. We don't typically do parts. We'll go 3 hours if we got to.
Yeah.
And we talk to common people and hear stories from struggle to success.
Yeah.
And in my free time, I'm going to start listening to Hayden's music.
You bet.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Boy sings like a bird.
Awesome.
Like a
Awesome.
bird being choked by a bobcat.
He sang like a bird. Boy.
Joe, we've had a pretty active holiday season as a family, and we've got some squirrels in the fridge. And Clay's mom, Judy, had a little tradition of making egg rolls around New Year's Day every year on their break. And we kind of adopted that because her egg rolls are
Squirrel
incredible.
egg rolls are good, ain't
It's what
they?
we're going to try. We're
good.
getting ready to try it. And something that I think everyone should know is that Bear bought himself a pan this week that I am not allowed to use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yep.
Barry,
Yeah.
you've been kind of quiet over there, buddy.
Well, she always gets mad at me for boiling deer skulls and stuff in her pans.
In my
And
house.
I feel like that's a completely reasonable thing to do.
So you bought your own pan.
So I bought my own pan.
I haven't heard about this yet.
And the
well,
first
to
thing-
cook over like a
really
fire
proud
and
of you,
stuff.
son.
The first thing he did when he walked in, I said, "How was your trip?" He said, "Good. I bought a pan and you can't use it."
Wow.
Did you get you
Not
a
quite that
pot or a
aggressive,
skillet or what you get?
Not quite that aggressive.
It's just like a skillet, pretty much.
Just like a cheap skillet
Yeah,
from
just
Walmart.
like $10.
I think it's a big move, though. It's his first pan. It's his first personal
First pan.
You know,
Bear, I'm going to make you a promise. Next time I come up here, I'm going to bring you a couple good ones.
All right.
Wow. He'll do it too.
He will.
I'll bring you a couple good ones, I think.
Hey, you know what we ought to do on a podcast?
Cook some stuff.
Live cook something.
Joe's got to
do
be
it.
there for that.
Well, I mean, he would do it.
He's the man. Yeah.
Well, no, I
And
wholeheartedly think
you could
we
just
need-
be talking to us, Joe. So what we didn't say about Joe, which people would know, is that he did say it. He's a barbecue expert. Mm-hmm. He's cooked for thousands and thousands of people.
Or at least he's a cell phone filter expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could Photoshop, but yeah, no, we fed over 45,000 people a ribeye steak across the country, and so we do a lot of cooking, and I just think that if you're out hunting, fishing, learning how to cook
You
it,
gotta know how to cook.
because one of the flaws in being a hunter and a fisherman is people will tell you there's trash fish or there's trash ducks. I'm a firm believer we can make anything taste right and people can eat it.
If you can cook it right.
It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, maybe some decent seasoning.
Yeah. The tenderizer.
And but you can turn, man, I've cooked porcupines, I've cooked moose heads, I've cooked everything that you can cook. If it's in the state of Arkansas, I've probably cooked it. And as a young guy, listening to bear stories, hanging out on the creek and doing weird stuff with his clothes and all of that. The next step is making it taste good. And
Hey, we're gonna do it.
I think we should.
We need to figure out the logistics of
Yeah.
it. But so thanks for coming, Joe.
Yeah, you bet.
Appreciate it. Dr. Newcomb, thank you for being here.
Good to
Bear,
be here.
thank you for being here. Hayden, thanks for coming up, man.
Glad to be
It
here.
was really great. Really love the song.
You bet.
Where can people find all your stuff?
Anywhere you can find anything.
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify, Pandora. It's all
Okay.
out there.
Okay.
No, I mean, Montgomery County Shine isn't out there yet. but
Yeah.
It might. It might be.
Might be.
It's
out now.
It's actually on the Cooking Up a Story Facebook page.
Well,
It probably is now.
come on, Joe.
And I'll be selling the rights to it. To
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sign the copies.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year to everybody. I can't wait for you to hear the next Bear Grease.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good year.
It's good.
Good Bear Grease year.
All right, guys.
I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the old ceremonial hunting tradition of eating the heart out of the first animal you kill. Meat from those organs are among the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. You can get those same benefits your ancestors craved via convenient daily capsules from Heart and Soil. Find out more at heartandsoil.co. And remember, use code MeatEater for 10% off your purchase.
Outdoor adventure won't wait for engine problems. Things like hard starts, rough performance, and lost fuel economy are often caused by fuel gum and varnish buildup. Seafoam can help your engine run better and last longer. Simply pour a can in your gas tank. Hunters and anglers rely on Seafoam to keep their engines running the way it should the entire season. Pick up a can of Seafoam today at your local auto parts store or visit seafoamworks.com to learn more.